Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Rich Perez welcoming you back into another dose of your weekly rundown. Joined in, as always, my brother from another, my co-host all the way from the U, Kayson Davis. How you doing, Kay?
Good. I'm doing real good. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. Yo, a lot of stuff happened, man. I know we just started, so not everybody's tuned in yet, but I know we did the bracket challenge and everything. Nobody got it right this year. Not even close. Like day one, it was over.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. The tournament is kind of really unpredictable, so I'm not surprised. I did see. I think after like the first 2 days, there was like only 8 brackets left out of 14 million. So that's usually how it goes. My bracket in the one with you guys looks terrible, but I got another one where I'm like 97% right now, so that's good.
That's not bad at all. I know after day one, it was like 0.4% of brackets were still alive. So, you know, that's great. Did you see Ohio State? Did you see that one coming? I don't think anybody saw that one coming.
Ohio State. No, but I did pick them to lose. I think in the next round, so I had them
Yeah,
losing.
but I didn't think anybody. And then Illinois, I had Illinois going to the championship game. Like,
Yeah, I had
but
them.
they lost to Loyola Chicago though. Like, so that's not that crazy to me. Like, Loyola Chicago has made noise the last couple years.
Yep. They went on the Final Four run a couple years ago, so I think that's kind of what it is. But Illinois is obviously the better team, but obviously the big brother in Chicago had to do what they do. They're never gonna accept Illinois people over there.
No. Shout out to Matthew Gutierrez too, man. Q's, we out here, man. Q's is in the Sweet 16, brother. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, a little surprising to me. I thought San Diego State might have got it with everything you heard about San Diego State when they first got them. And then West Virginia was a close one. I figured that one can kind of go either way. But really, shout out to Buddy Boeheim. Buddy Boeheim has been saving them in these couple games. So if he keeps it up, maybe they got a chance. But they got Houston in the next round, so that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, hey, but San Diego State was supposed to be tough too, though, man. Like we talked to Matt, that was the thing. They did not match up well at all against San Diego State, and they went out. They didn't just beat San Diego State. They got a statement win over there.
Yeah. They really stuck it to them there. But the second game was kind of closer, and a lot of people might have figured that San Diego State was better than West Virginia. So with these tournament things, it's kind of just up in the air. I talked about it on here when Matt was on here. Syracuse's zone is always like you can never know how it's gonna go. So they're always like a wild card in the tournament. So that's just what it is. We're gonna see. Houston's been one of the top teams all year. They're the 2 seed, so we're gonna see how that goes.
Yeah, I definitely got I told you guys I got Villanova winning the whole thing. I got them taking out a 1 seed in Baylor coming up here soon.
That one should definitely be a good one. I think the way Baylor's been playing, they look kind of impressive in their first 2 games, but they're 1 seed, so I guess you kind of expect that. That one's definitely gonna be a good one. I might stick with Baylor in it, but we're gonna see.
Yeah, for sure, man. We'll definitely wait and see, man. Keep tuning in, man. I love it. March is always my my time of year between the wrestling and the men's basketball tournament. It's crazy. The wrestling tournament was crazy this weekend too, man. Shout out Iowa winning their first title in over a decade. That was that was great. The finals were great. Surprise All-American. I think something that was similar between the wrestling and basketball tournament, I think, and maybe you can agree with this too, Kay. What I noticed in the wrestling tournament, was a lot of these lower seeds were, taking out these higher seeds and, ended up placing. And I know that we've all noticed that in the basketball tournament. I feel like with this year specifically, though, they may be lower seeds, but because of the circumstances, like we shouldn't be like, oh, it's a crazy upset, because we really didn't get a chance to really evaluate how good these guys or these teams were this year.
Yeah, definitely. That's true. A lot of teams didn't get to play all their games and stuff like that. So this might be one of the maybe the craziest years. And even with COVID, some people, I think Oklahoma was missing their best player in the men's basketball tournament. So with COVID going on, some people may have to miss some parts of the tournament and things like that. And everyone didn't get to play a full season. So like usually players and teams talk about how you want to be playing your best when it's tournament time or championship time, wherever it is. And usually use the regular season to learn from that. You can kind of use Syracuse as an example. They were kind of terrible. I wouldn't say terrible, but their defense was kind of terrible to start the year, and now they're maybe one of the best defenses right now, and that's kind of what got them to the Sweet 16. So you want to be playing your best then, and you kind of need those extra games and stuff to kind of get there. So this one maybe just be one of the most unpredictable things ever. So
Yeah, I mean Michigan just they were another team too. They just squeaked by number 8 LSU to make the Sweet 16, and that's the team I had going on a huge run, man. And that's the team I'm pulling for too, man. I love Juwan Howard. I big Fab Five fan, so you want to run through this Sweet 16 real quick?
sure, yeah, let's go.
Number 4 Florida State versus number 1 Michigan.
Yeah, I know who I was taking in that. I said Florida State. The ACC has let me down so far, but Florida State and Syracuse has been holding it down for us. But I had picked Florida State in that matchup before the tournament even started, so I'm sticking with Florida State.
I'm only an Ohio State fan when it comes to football and wrestling. So with that being said, go blue. Michigan is taking this one. They're moving on, and they're going to go up against either UCLA or Bama. I don't know, man. I think UCLA might have one in them.
UCLA's been playing real tough. I figured if they can get out of that Final Four, that first four matchup, they'll be able to beat BYU. And then I think they ended up going up against, I forgot what team, but it was another lower seed. So
ACU.
yeah, so Houston, I mean UCLA's been getting a little lucky. I think Alabama's gonna be a bigger test for them. That's another bigger team in the bigger conference. And Alabama's been one of the best teams all year, and they're playing well. If you see their guards, they're really out there performing. So I'm gonna stick with Alabama in this one.
All right, I like it. I like it. You got on the other side here, Oregon versus USC. USC got into this one by, they didn't just upset the Jayhawks. They demolished them. 85 to 51. Didn't see that one coming at all. And then USC knocks off number 2 Iowa 95 to 80 to get to this one. I think I like Oregon over USC in this one, but I feel like it'll be a good game.
Yeah, definitely. They're both in the Pac-12, so they've seen each other all year. So I think this is going to be one of the most interesting matchups of the Sweet 16 because these teams played each other at least 2 or 3 times this year, and they play each other every year. So the coaches know each other, and the players kind of know each other by now. And it's the Pac-12 is like the West Coast, so a lot of the West Coast guys stay over there, so they all know each other. So this one's going to be maybe one of the more interesting games in the Sweet 16. With that being said, I think it's kind of a toss-up. Oregon's playing really well right now, but I think if I have to choose with what USC was just able to do to Kansas, I'm gonna go with USC.
All right, I like Oregon a little better than USC in that one. Now here's one because I believed I picked Creighton to get this far. Matter of fact, I might have actually had that one because I picked Oklahoma to go a little far too. I got to relook at my brackets, but Creighton and Gonzaga. When we talked to you guys last week, we talked about, you guys were asking about our thoughts on Gonzaga and everything. Me and Kayson are kind of on the same page as, they play in a weak conference, feel like that's going to come back to bite them. And Gonzaga's played well. I'm taking Creighton to knock off Gonzaga, though. I got to stick to my guns, man. And you guys know why, though. I feel like the competition factor and everything, I just feel like they're due a loss here.
Yeah, like you said, we both kind of predicted that they wouldn't win it. They have been playing really well. I had them losing to Kansas, I believe, or maybe Florida. No, did they end up playing Florida State? I had them losing to Kansas or the matchup before that. Oh, Virginia, but Virginia went out. So and Kansas went out now too. So I'm gonna pick Gonzaga in this one. They've been playing really well.
You was hating on Creighton, man.
Yeah, not at all. Creighton, like I said, also doesn't play in that big of a conference, but they're very good this year too. So I think it's gonna be something that Gonzaga has seen before. So I'm gonna go with Gonzaga in this one. And now I might take Gonzaga to make it to the Final Four with Virginia and Kansas going out. But I guess USC may be able to knock them out what they was able to do to Kansas. But you know how it goes when the facts change. So does my opinion. So
Yep.
Gonzaga, I got them making it to the Final Four.
Right on, man. And then we got the Cinderella, one of the Cinderella stories of the tournament, man. Oral Roberts that knocked off number 2 Ohio State. They're going up against number 3 Arkansas. I'm gonna take Oral Roberts to keep moving on here, man. I like it. I'm rolling with it. I am rolling with it, man. They are going to the Elite Eight. Oral Roberts.
I'm gonna take them too. They've been playing very well. They like you said, he was able to knock off Ohio State, and Arkansas has played all right, but they haven't played maybe their best basketball right now. They were down in the first half in their first matchup, which I thought they were gonna maybe end up losing. And in my bracket, I didn't have them going too far anyway, so I guess I was never that confident in them. So Oral Roberts is playing great. They knocked off some good teams. So I'm gonna stick with them. We keep this magical run going.
Yeah. Got number 5 Nova going up against number 1 Baylor. I told you guys last week, I think Nova's going to win this whole thing. Jay Wright's a fantastic coach trying to go after his 3rd national championship. Yeah, I'm sticking with what I told you guys last week. I got Villanova knocking off number 1 Baylor here.
This one's tough because it's hard to go against Villanova, especially with the lot of success that they had recently. But Baylor's really good this year, man. They might have the best backcourt in the country, and they might have had the best backcourt in the country all year. So as long as everything goes well, I think I'm going to stick with Baylor in this one.
All right. We'll see. You know I'm going to hit you up after that game. Yeah, definitely got to talk to you after that game. Loyola Chicago and Oregon State. Loyola Chicago, man, you know, they made a run a couple times at the tournament the last couple years. And you know, they ended up knocking off number 1 Illinois, who I thought was going to go to the championship game. But, you know, I can't say Loyola Chicago making it this far is too surprising just because of what they've been able to do the last couple of years when it comes to the big dance. You know, so I'm going to take Loyola Chicago. It's not an upset because it's number 12 Oregon State. They knocked off number 4 Oklahoma State. But I'm going to take Loyola Chicago to move on here.
Yeah, this is gonna be another good one because Oregon State is playing really well too. They were able. They wasn't even supposed to be in the tournament. They made a run to win the Pac-12 to get in, and then they beat some good teams to make it here to the Sweet 16. So they're playing really well. And Loyola Chicago's playing great. They just knocked off the little brother Illinois. So both teams are playing really well right now. I'm gonna go with Loyola Chicago too. I think Oregon State's playing really well, but I think Chicago's gonna be like you said, they kind of been here before. They made a couple runs, so it's not that surprising. And I just think Fate's gonna be on their side a little bit. They're coming off the high, beating Illinois, who's supposed to be a great team. I picked to win the tournament, so I think they're gonna ride their high to get this W.
Then we got Q's. Shout out Syracuse, man, going up against number 2 Houston. Hey, I'm not being biased. You guys know we're big Syracuse fans on here, but I am not being biased when I say this. Cuse, that's a terrible S, but Cuse, we moving on, man. Cuse is going to knock off number 2 Houston. I heard Coach Boeheim was on the Michael K show today, kind of talking a little bit about the run they've been on, as well as, you know, just, I guess, you know, he was kind of making a joke about it, but he doesn't really get his just due of how he feels anyway. You know, just how great of a coach he is. And his son, Buddy Boeheim, is killing it. I love that he was, you know, yapping at the mouth while he was just, you know, killing it from the arc. So I'm taking Cuse, man. Coach is getting to the Elite Eight.
I counted Cuse out in the first matchup. I figured if they got past that, they had a chance to beat West Virginia. Houston is the 2 seed. They've been playing well all year, but I don't know how well they've been playing in this tournament so far. They low key was supposed to lose. I think they supposed to lose. They went on like a 10-2 run in the last minute to come back and beat Rutgers. They're supposed to maybe lose in the last round. So this one's a tough one for me, but I'm gonna count my guys out again, and I'm gonna go with Houston.
Oh man, Kay, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, Kay. What is going on?
If we're being completely unbiased, I'm going to go with Houston. I think they're going to be able to maybe figure out that zone. And also, Houston plays great defense. If you kind of watch what's been going on with Syracuse, Buddy Boeheim's been playing great, but he's kind of been their only person playing great. I think Houston has now a full week to prepare for them. They're going to figure out a way to kind of slow him down. And after that, Hughes is going to have to maybe rely on someone else. Joe Girard was able to step up in that first half for them. Everyone kind of maybe played a little well in the second half. No, Buddy Bayham started playing well in that second half of that Virginia game. If with a whole week to prepare, if Houston has who plays good defense all year, I think they're holding opponents to like under 60 points a game. They have a whole week to prepare for him, so I think they'll be able to slow him down. And to me, the X factor for Houston is going to be who else can step up at least a little bit to draw some attention off Buddy and see if Buddy can get it going. So I think as they go on in this tournament, they're gonna need more people to step up because people are not gonna keep letting Buddy get 30 points a night.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I can respect that, man. But I'm still it's Q's gang forever, man. We ride together, we die together, all that. So
I'm definitely rooting for them, but being unbiased, I'm gonna have to take Houston in that one.
all right, man. I respect it. I definitely I definitely respect it. You know what's some other takeaways you have from it? I think for me, you know, a lot of people thought that this was going to be the Big Ten's year, and the Big Ten just really fumbled in this tournament this year.
I brought it up earlier, but the ACC has really let me down. I think obviously a lot of people said that the ACC wasn't as good as it wasn't as good this year as it usually is. I still think it's the best conference in basketball, no matter how you slice it. So obviously I had some confidence in them, but like people were saying, it just wasn't that good this year. And then the Pac-12 with Oregon State being able to make it, Oregon, USC. Obviously, the Pac-12 is maybe the second best conference, third best conference. It's definitely a top five conference. Definitely the best conference on the West Coast. So just a little surprising to see them in there, even though we thought they were great. And matter of fact, UCLA is in the Pac-12 too. So the Pac-12 has a lot of teams in this one, and that's not something I think a lot of people would have maybe seen, especially with Oregon State just sneaking in and then UCLA having to come out of the play-in tournament. And then no, I don't think a lot of people would have picked USC to get past Kansas. So I think the Pac-12 has been a little surprising for us.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We got one here from Nico Wildator, who has been the biggest surprise of the tournament so far. I got to go with Oral Roberts, man. They're in the Sweet 16, knocked off number 2 Ohio State, and as I said earlier, year, but we all thought the Big Ten was gonna kind of be the conference to run with it this year. Like that was the biggest upset for sure of the tournament so far. And yeah, I'm going with Oral Roberts. The Q's is there with me too though, but they're not bigger than Oral Roberts.
Yeah, for our team wise, I'll definitely go with Oral Roberts. Like you for everything you just said, no one would expect them to be there. I think Loyola Chicago's a little surprising too, but it's not as surprising because, like you said, they made that Final Four run a couple years back. But I didn't think they'd get past Illinois. So, like I just said, the Pac-12 has been kind of surprising if you want to go with a conference. And for a player, I think Buddy Boeheim has just been surprising us since the tournament time has started. The
Yeah.
ACC tournament, this tournament, he was. Well, we all knew he was a great shooter. But the way he's shooting the lights out right now, being able to create his own buckets, a lot of them shots are kind of tough shots he's making. And he really won them the end of that West Virginia game. They was able to switch. I don't know what the kid's name was. He was the kid that was shooting all those threes against them. Every time he got switched on to Buddy Boeheim, he was able to score because he was just too shorter. So he's shooting over the top of people. And I don't think people seen this out of Buddy. Especially he's like their best scorer right now. He's basically willed them to a lot of these victories. So for a player, I'm gonna go with Buddy.
All right, right on. I definitely agree with that, man. I love what I see him from Buddy Boeheim. You know, he's gonna make a team. He's gonna be a key contributor to an NBA team sometime in the future. I feel like too. He might have to do some work, a little more work to get there. But I definitely love what I'm seeing from Buddy Boeheim.
I love what I'm seeing from him too. My one issue with Buddy Boeheim, watching him over these years, one obviously with every Syracuse player, you don't know how well they can play defense because they sit in the zone. But Jim Boeheim says all the time they play man to man in practice. But Buddy is just at the NBA level. He may just be. He needs to get a little faster. He's a little slow for me, especially at the NBA level. If you see the way he moves, obviously he's not like a snail or something. But I think he could work on his speed a little bit, and obviously his handle a little more. So those would be the two things I think he would need to work on. But if he keeps shooting like this, he's definitely an NBA caliber shooter. Which sometimes you just need to get your foot in and have one great thing that people know that you can do, and then go from there.
Yeah, we've seen them all the time. Rodney McGruder, Wayne Ellington, guys like that might have to make your way through the G League, but you put the work in, you get there.
Yeah, I definitely think he'll be a solid G League player. It's gonna be interesting to see, especially like you said, they don't play man too often in the NBA. There's gonna be a lot more man, so he doesn't have the foot speed at that level. He may just get blown by a little bit, but it's gonna be interesting to see. I definitely think he'll be a G League player wherever he wants to go, but we're gonna have to see how he develops over these next couple of years.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So let's switch gears here, man. We will be back for more March Madness next week for you guys. But we got to switch gears here. I am, unlike last week, I am wearing this jersey for a reason. This was not a coincidence, and you see those plaques behind me. The New York Football Giants, man, clap it up for them. You guys are too quiet in this chat today, man. I need some talk. We got some real talk. The New York Football Giants, Dave Gettleman and company, they are not messing around in this free agency. They are putting their money where their mouth is. Went and signed Kenny Golladay, 4 years, $76 million. Some people can say they might have overpaid for him, but I got something for you guys for that want to say that. But let me run through what the Giants have done so far. So Kenny Golladay has been the big signing for the Giants, but however, they also, following that, signed Adoree Jackson to a 3-year, $39 million deal. So they add on to that secondary that was very good for them last year. And they are going to continue moving on with that, with improving that defense. And then they also ended up picking up outside linebacker Ryan Anderson, who played for the Washington football team, and it is also rumored that they are going to be looking at, that they will be looking, they are actually a finalist for offensive guard Try Turner, especially with they got to try and replace Kevin Zeitler, who was a casualty of cutting the cap and everything over there. So, the Giants are out here making moves, man. And really now, there's a couple things here. One, when you talk, they also signed Kyle Rudolph at tight end, by the way, who's doing very well with the Minnesota Vikings for a period of time. So when you look at this offensive package that the Giants have, you got your number one wide receiver in Kenny Golladay, Darius Slayton, and Sterling Shepard. You have Evan Ingram at tight end, and then you also have Kyle Rudolph. Oh yeah, and then you got this guy named Saquon Barkley in the backfield. Yes, I understand he is coming off an ACL surgery. Name eight. Name me eight. Skills. Name me eight teams who are better than what the Giants have right now. Eight. You can name some, but name me eight that are better than what the Giants have right now. I'll name them with you. I think the Kansas City Chiefs,
the Chiefs, yeah, obviously.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Rams, they're pretty good. I wouldn't even put Green Bay in there. Green Bay has a great running back and one great wide receiver.
Did AJ Green just sign with the Cardinals, right?
Yep, you could throw the Cardinals in there.
Yeah,
that's four.
The Cardinals.
You can throw the Cardinals in there. That's four.
Let me think some more.
You can't. That's my point. You can't. 8.
What number are we at right now?
We're at 4.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see how the rest of the all season goes. It's good for the Giants right now.
I got a point. I got a point, man. I'm just saying this because a lot of people were talking about, we feel like you overpaid for Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay led the league in receptions in 2019. Yes, I get, he only played about 5 games a year ago. The injury factor is a thing. Here's what the Giants did that the Jets never did for Sam Darnold. They surrounded their quarterback, and the Bills did this with Josh Allen, surrounded their quarterback with all of this talent because now there you can leave no doubts in our mind after this year. He's either the guy or he's not because he has everything he needs to succeed. And now you just got to go out there and you got to do it. So as far as Kenny Golladay goes and paying him, it's worth it because it tells you whether or not you have that quarterback in place. Like the Giants now go as far as Daniel Jones can take him. He has everything he needs. You know, I mean, the line can definitely be shored up a little more, but we liked what we saw from the line last year. You know, he's got the weapons as far as receivers, tight ends go. He's got Saquon Barkley back. I believe Wayne Gallman is still on the team. We don't know what the RB2 position is looking like on the Giants so far yet. But he has everything he needs. So straight, it's as far as the money goes, it's fine with me because you need to identify if this guy is your franchise quarterback or not. And he's shown flashes, but we always have questions because at the end of the day, they're just flashes.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about Galloway on here last week and kind of how the Giants to go and try to surround Daniel Jones with some weapons. I think now with everything you just said is true. It's just can he stay healthy now? You know, at the end of last season, he got injured and things like that. So obviously, if he stays healthy and he's not performing, then maybe he's not the quarterback like we think he could be. So I think everything you said is true. Now from here, he just has to stay healthy and be able to show us that he can be that quarterback. So the Giants, like you said, are in a good spot. It's just going to be interesting to see if he doesn't end up handing out. What's the plan after that? Obviously, you want to get a new quarterback, but do you go through the draft or you try to sign somebody?
I feel like with what they have, you'd want to go sign somebody, but it's possible you can go in the draft. I mean, I'll give Gettleman some credit here for as much as I get at him, and it's deservedly so. But as far as drafting goes, he hasn't been too bad in that department. You know, even the quarterbacks that he drafted is kind of like project guys, like Kyle Olletta, who he's no longer on the team, but that wasn't a guy that I hated. You know what I mean? Like he's done pretty well for himself as far as the draft goes. But I think for them, you'd want to sign somebody like I don't want to get too much into the Deshaun Watson situation, but it's a good chance he's out there. We know he doesn't want to stay in Houston. Then you got Russell Wilson. That's out there. How long is he staying? Over in Seattle. Oh, by the way, it came out today that Aaron Rodgers would like to have assurance that he's going to be Green Bay's quarterback for the foreseeable future, not just a lame duck quarterback for just 2021. So that's a situation to monitor as well. So they have some options there.
Yeah, and being in New York, and even though they've been bad over these last couple of years, the Giants, I think, is still a team that people want to play for. Just being in New York, the team has a great history. So signing a quarterback does kind of maybe seem like the option from there, especially if with all those situations going on. I think one of those guys may become available. If it's, I guess not this year, but at the time, if Daniel Jones is not working out, I think that one of those guys should maybe be possibly available. And I think Deshaun Watson had the Jets on his list if that was a real thing. So
it wasn't true. It was out there, but then a lot of people came out and said that wasn't true.
Oh, see, I was gonna say he wants to be in New York, so that could be something. But like I said, I think people still want to play in New York right now. So obviously, they could be a market that people want to sign with.
Yeah, for sure, man. Here's another thing. I was talking to my boy Rashad, shout out Rashad, this morning. Actually, he felt like this is the Giants division to win, but he said like with 7 wins. I don't think that this is a division like last year. The Cowboys are bringing Dak Prescott back. I don't like Ryan Fitzpatrick, but when the expectations aren't there, he's pretty good. So he's the quarterback for the Washington football team. But here's the thing. The Washington football team has this very, very good defense. And don't sleep on the Cowboys, man. They don't have a great defense, but they've got a very good offense. And you bring in Dak Prescott. And I don't love Dak Prescott either, but he's a very good quarterback at the end of the day. I feel like these three, the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Washington football team are 3 teams that can absolutely compete outside of their division. Like they'll give teams scares when they play them. So I feel like this is a division where maybe 9 to 10 wins is what you need to win the division. And also, with the extended playoffs coming in here, it's possible. I think that we could see two teams, the division winner and maybe the second place team, get into the postseason. So I would just say watch out for the NFC East this year.
Uh, yeah, I can see what you're saying. Obviously, I think the conference would be better than what it was last year. Obviously, it wasn't that great last year. So the Giants have made some moves, like you said. Dak Prescott coming back should definitely make the Cowboys a better team. So I can definitely see what you're saying. I don't know if they'll get two in. They're gonna have to show me a little first. But yeah, definitely, I can see what you're saying if maybe everything works out for them. But obviously, the conference can't get too much worse than what it was last year.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I guess I want to get into the other football team in New York before we move on here, and that is the New York Jets. They made some moves, but they did not make moves exactly like the Giants did. Signed a couple receivers in there, but nothing, too eye popping or anything like that. And it makes me wonder, because the biggest question here is, are they drafting a quarterback with the number 2 overall pick? Are they going to trade back, try and get some more weapons in there? Are they sticking with Sam Darnold? Now, some of the receivers that they brought in this year, when asked, said that they're under the impression that Sam Darnold is their quarterback. So that makes me kind of think now, is Joe Douglas just kind of playing chess a little bit here with what he wants to do with the number 2 overall pick? Because it's something, man. Like, a lot of people talk really highly of Zach Wilson, as far as he reminds people of an Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes type, with the way that he moves outside the pocket and, the throws that he makes and things like that. But, you hear people say also that they believe that Sam Darnold can still be extremely good in this league, I saw something today, actually. They were talking about moving him to San Francisco. They got Kyle Shanahan's brother as the Jets offensive coordinator. He's running the exact same thing that they're running in San Francisco. So, that's just something to take into account too. Why would you want to let this guy go over there and flourish in the same exact system that you're running here? You know what I mean? So I think they have options. I still think they definitely failed this guy as far as getting him weapons in there. But if you can trade back that number 2 pick, get a bunch of picks in there, maybe get him a Kyle Pitts, who's, the top tight end in this, or, a Devonta Smith or Waddle or Jamar Chase possibly, or even an offensive lineman like Penei Sewell. That they have options here.
Yeah, I've been kind of talking about this kind of every time we bring the Jets up. I think this draft may be a big draft for them, especially for the future. I think this is going to show us where they might be heading for the future. Obviously, we don't know what they're going to do right now, but if they go quarterback, that means Sam Darnold is possibly out of there. If they don't go quarterback, that means
Possibly, he's gone.
Yeah. So if they don't go quarterback, that means that they want to keep Sam Darnold and build around him. So obviously, they might have to make some more moves to get some pieces around him. And what are they going to do with that second pick? Do they trade it? Do they take someone they feel like can help them? So it obviously, with how the Jets been, you want to win now. So maybe they want to trade that to get someone that can maybe help them win now, or if you just try to get someone in the draft and wait and see how he develops. So I think this draft right now is going to be a big important draft for them. So it'd be interesting to see where they go. And for me, it just we really don't know where it's going to go right now. But I think once that number 2 pick is announced, we're definitely, or if a trade happens before that, we're going to know what direction the Jets are going in from here forward.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So definitely want to monitor, man. But it's been fun. Can't lie. Like this, the NFL has been a little fun this time around. We got to see a little bit last year. I don't know. Maybe it's a little change, because usually it's the NBA's department. They're the talk of the town all year round.
Yeah, because NBA free agency is a little crazy, but yeah. So obviously that's what the NFL is hoping for. So it'd be great, well, I guess I think football is still the number 1 sport in America, but you know how it goes. It'd be great if both of them are great all year round, because football only gives us about like 18, maybe 20 weeks out the year.
Right. So let's get to the NBA here, man, because I saw a question that actually goes along with one of our topics, and that is from again from Nika Wildator. How do you think the injury? How do you think the injury will affect LeBron's career, especially considering his age? I think somebody here did say, "What's up with all these injuries?" or something. Uh, and that's really what we're getting at here, because we talk a lot about Anthony Davis, going down. We don't exactly know when he'll be back. LeBron had a scary injury, but he walked himself off the court. That dude's like bionic or something. Uh, it hurt. The fact that the Lakers have no Anthony Davis and now no LeBron James, they're sitting in third place. That definitely hurts them. Like, this team goes as those two go. Without them, like, imagine hearing Frank Vogel tell you, like, yeah, we got to rely on Dennis Schroeder to keep things going here. No disrespect to Dennis Schroeder, but they're not competing for a championship without those two guys. They might even fall pretty low without those two guys. So, for LeBron, I think Stephen A actually said something that when he said it, I didn't think about it till he said it, but hearing him say it, I agree with it. Like, it's good for him because he needs a break, so he can just sit down now. But it's still bad for the Lakers because they needed somebody in there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm actually watching them get spanked by New Orleans right now. It's still the first half, but they need those two and all that. And the other injury here, because we see man, Nika's coming with the questions today. I love it. How do you feel about LaMelo Ball's season and ending after his wrist injury? Well, it's possible. This came out maybe about 3 hours ago. It's possible that he might come back before the season's over. But I mean, it's tough to see. He was having a great season, but even with him out, he's still winning Rookie of the Year. We told you guys when he got drafted. We both told you guys when he got drafted, he was going to run away with this award. He's been running away with it. Even without him playing, he's still going to run away with it. So, I mean, great season by him. They're in sixth place, I believe, in the Eastern Conference. So, and that really is because of him. So, we'll see what happens with that. But, it's tough luck, and hopefully we see him come back soon.
Yeah, definitely. I think for Bron, you brought up a point that I was going to bring up. Obviously, the rest can help him at this age. I don't think the injury hurts him too much. Not going forward. It's only an ankle sprain. If it was something else, I'd be maybe a little more concerned. With it just being an ankle sprain, obviously he's got it look bad, but he'll be back in maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks, so it won't be too bad. Like you said, it really hurts the Lakers the most with AD being out, and they're only in the third seed. They definitely need Bron out there, so I think that's where it's going to hurt them. But obviously, if you're the Lakers, you just want to get everybody healthy by playoff time and kind of feel like you can go on a road and beat anybody, especially being the defending champ. So I don't think it's going to hurt his career too much going forward. I think the rest would help him. It's just maybe going to put an extra couple more miles on him come playoff time, because they're going to have to go into – they might have to, if they fall. And like you said, they got to rely on Dennis Schroeder. No disrespect to Schroeder, who's my guy. But they might fall a little bit here. I think Shannon Sharp has said it, that they're only a couple games out of the 8th seed and a couple games out of being out of the playoffs in general. And they're going to hit Bron, if he misses 4 weeks, is going to miss about 16 games or so. So they're going to have to try to figure something out to stay afloat. But that's where their biggest issue comes in here. But like I said, you just want to get everybody healthy and kind of roll your dice out there. And as far as LaMelo Ball, it's unfortunate. I think Anthony Edwards has been playing really well lately, and he could be coming for it. He scored 43 the other night. It's going to be interesting to see how the voters go, because Melo's going to miss the maybe 25% of the season towards the end of it. And like you said, the reports that came out that he may be able to make a return by the end of the season, which is good. And they're in the playoff hunt right now, so obviously he would want to win Rookie of the Year, but if he doesn't because he missed so much time, he'll be back in time to get to the playoffs. So Anthony Edwards can kind of have that Rookie of the Year if he's gonna be able to get into the playoffs. But obviously it should have been LaMelo's, but we don't know how how they're gonna vote. So it's gonna be interesting to see going forward if the time will hurt him in the MVP chances, because obviously he was running away with it. Anthony Edwards was making a little push to catch up to him, but he was running away with it from the beginning.
Yeah, good point by you, man. I just think that you can't forget about what he did, like, just because he got hurt. I think, like, when you're voting, and I hope the voters, this is in their head, like, do not forget about the season that he was having and the impact that he had on Charlotte while he was before he got hurt. You know.
Yeah, that's true, but it's like the same thing with Braun. They were saying the same thing. Now that he went down with the injury, how does that? He's gonna miss so many games. How does that hurt his MVP chances?
I wasn't picking him to win it anyway.
Some people were. Some people thought he was in the favorite to get it right now. So it's like it shouldn't hurt him, but it's gonna hurt him. You can just tell by the way people are talking about it right now. It's gonna hurt his chances. We're just gonna have to see how much it is gonna hurt his chances, which is unfortunate.
Right. Well, we'll see what we'll definitely see what happens. Let's get to some questions here. Some more questions here. How far can Syracuse go in the tournament as of now? Well, Kayson won't agree with me on this, but maybe I got some orange tinted glasses on, but I think Syracuse can go to the Final Four. Coach Boeheim is great. They've shown when they start to go on a run that's usually about their ceiling is a Final Four. So I think that they can make a Final Four.
It'd be beautiful if they could make the Final Four. And do you know who they would play if they do get past Houston? I think Houston's going to be a tough matchup for them. I think going forward is going to be a tough matchup. The teams, like Houston has a week to prepare for that zone, even though like playing the zone is a little different than preparing for it. And then they have a week to prepare for Buddy Boeheim because who's their main scorer. I think if Buddy Boeheim's not scoring, it's going to be tough. Joe Girard, like I said, was able to step up in that first half, but I don't know how much you can maybe count on him. But maybe someone else can step up in the first half. So I think Allen Griffin needs to get it going. I think if they're going to make a run, they could really use Allen Griffin right now.
They would play the winner of Oregon State and Loyola Chicago. We both picked Loyola Chicago, so.
If they get past Houston, I can see them in the Final Four.
Thank you.
It's Houston that's going to be the problem. But hey, I've been wrong about them in the last 2 weeks. So
right on.
I guess how far can they go? And who would they play in the Final Four?
Who would they play in the Final Four?
Who are the teams on that side of the bracket with them?
Elite Eight. So they would play. I picked Creighton and Oregon, and then Michigan and UCLA. So from there, it would be here. Oh, they play. They would. I picked Nova, so they would play Nova in the Final Four.
Okay, they can make a run for the championship.
I'm not picking them over Nova.
I can pick them over Nova.
I'm not picking.
Is Florida State on that side of the bracket too?
No, Florida State's on the top side with Michigan.
That's good. I was gonna say if they have Florida State, they're gonna have a problem because they played Florida State too many times this year. Who else is on there? Loyola Chicago's on that side too.
Yeah, so if they beat Houston, we both picked Loyola Chicago to win their matchup. So They would play Loyola Chicago, and then they would play what I believe would be Villanova.
Who would Villanova be playing in the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four?
Either Arkansas or Roberts.
Oh yeah, if they get past Houston, they got a chance to make it to the championship.
I am not picking Syracuse over Villanova.
Obviously, it's gonna be tough to get past Houston and then get past Villanova. But hey, I feel like if you can get past Houston and San Diego, you should be able to get past Villanova. But obviously, Villanova is a championship team. They haven't been as good this year, but I think they always have a shot. But if you get past Houston, if they can get past Houston and they got past San Diego, I think they have a shot. Maybe to win it all, but maybe definitely get to the championship.
If they won it all, man, Coach Boeheim needs his flowers like now.
That'd be crazy if they won it all. I doubt they're gonna win it all. That'd be absolutely crazy. If they win it all, I'm coming on here and I'm throwing a party. Y'all gonna see me up here acting like Shannon Sharp on the episode. But I
jerseys and all, got that yak.
That's right.
All right, man. From Bria Monet, was the Bucks win over the 76ers a big win or no? I'm gonna say no because the Sixers don't have Joel Embiid.
Yes, I'm gonna say yes and no. Obviously, the Sixers didn't have Joel Embiid, but they didn't win. But I think it's big for them because they're on a 6-game winning streak now. So I think seems like they're getting their groove together now. And then Giannis.
Did PJ Tucker play?
He played the last 2 games, I believe. So, I don't know if he played in that. I think the trade happened after the Sixers game, so I don't think he played in that game. But they just got PJ Tucker too. I think they're playing well. They're rolling right now. So I think it's obviously you're gonna look and say, well, they didn't have Joel Embiid, their best player, maybe the MVP player right now. But I think it's good for them because they're getting it rolling here. So shout out to the Bucks. I think they're going for 7.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Most def, most def. Adia R, should we also worry about KD still being out? I mean, it's starting to become a cause of concern. I can't remember when was the last time I saw KD play. It's been a while. But I mean, I don't know. I would still say no. I think we'll see him back fine and everything. Yo, did you see this post going around? They're like KD, we saw what the Warriors were without KD. We know they didn't really need him, and now we're seeing how good Brooklyn is without him. So he doesn't have this crazy he has no he hasn't shown his impact on a team since like Oklahoma City. I legitimately disagree with that.
In the Oklahoma City case, when they left, Oklahoma City was still pretty good. Obviously, it wasn't a championship.
You're adding on to this?
Yeah, like obviously they wasn't a championship contender, but with just Russ, they made the playoff as a 60. They were still a pretty solid team. Obviously, Russ went Superman mode, but like, yeah, I would even say since the OKC days, when technically, I'm not saying it's true, but the facts say right here that you can make a case that isn't true. That's true.
I'm gonna tell you why it's not true. Maybe it might have been true for Golden State, but for the Nets, I'm gonna tell you why it's not true. I cannot see James Harden and Kyrie Irving taking the Nets to the promised land. That's why that's where KD's value comes to that team. He's the one that gets you over the hump with those, and they played great, but that's regular season basketball. And you guys know how I feel about the Sixers in the postseason. What I've been saying about the Sixers come postseason time. But I just do not trust either of those two to get you to the promised land in the playoffs. We've got a great sample size, seen it time and time again. That's why I don't agree with that. I think KD coming in, KD is what they need to win a championship.
I will agree with you with that point, definitely. But in the same sense, obviously it is the regular season, but I can maybe see them get into the finals without KD. Obviously, I've said it on here a lot. I am not that confident in the Eastern Conference. So obviously, there'll be some tough challenges, and they would want KD. But Kyrie and Harden have been looking like a match made in heaven so far. So obviously, if they can keep that going, I think they could maybe do it. Because I think some of these teams, like obviously Giannis, is going to have to figure out a way to be more effective in the playoffs, and that's just for any team they go up against. So they can find a way to maybe neutralize Giannis. They can find a way to neutralize Ben Simmons. The Heat if the Heat had been rolling, the Heat could maybe give them a problem, but they might not have to match up against the Heat. So
watch out for the Heat too. The Heat in Philly, I believe, and maybe the Clippers are all trying to get Kyle Lowry by the deadline right now. So just watch out for that.
Yeah, so but they might have to match up with the Heat. So like, I could see them maybe winning those series without KD. And obviously, I think they'll definitely need him in the finals. But I could see them winning maybe the Eastern Conference without him.
Like I said, man, Philadelphia is that team to me that'll knock them off. And I love Miami. I think that they're a team that you can't watch. It's really that top four for me: Philly, Brooklyn, Miami, and Milwaukee, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah, basically, like you said, the Heat, the Nets, Milwaukee, and the 76ers, those are the kind of final four to say in the Eastern Conference that we expect. That's where things get interesting, though, because who's going to match up with who, what's going to be what, and who's gonna be able to step up and kind of get the W. So, but still, like I said, I don't think they should be too worried against. Maybe obviously they should be worried, but I think they can find a way to neutralize Ben Simmons, Giannis. So I feel like they can pull out those wins if they do match up with them. The Heat are going to be harder because their best players can shoot, so they got to really figure something out there. But in the playoffs, when you can't shoot, teams seem to be able to figure out a way to stop people. Obviously, the Sixers have Joel Embiid, but he's a big man, and you know how it is with the big man being your best player. It's kind of hard for them to affect the game as much as guards do. So there's a way you can neutralize someone being a big man. So they can maybe neutralize both of their best players on the Sixers without KD.
All right. For sure, for sure. We're definitely getting a lot of debates come playoff time when it comes to that one. But we'll wait for when that one comes through. Let's get to some more trade deadline stuff, man, because I brought up Kyle Lowry. I feel like the Sixers, well, we talked about that last week about the Sixers trying to acquire him, right?
I believe so.
I feel like the Sixers, who really needs him is between the Sixers and the Clippers. The Clippers are in dire need of a guard, of a point guard, and he's obviously, been to the promised land, wanted and everything. For him to go back to Philly would be great because he's from Philly. It's a homecoming for him. I think he'd be tremendous there. He'd have the greatest impact on the Clippers because that's really what they're missing.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Clippers are in play for Alonzo Ball. The Clippers are in play for any point guard that's out there. So there's been rumors that Kawhi has been crying for a point guard for a while now. So I think any point guard any point guard that's on the market, obviously the Clippers should kind of go after right now. So
Be smart. I think if you're the Clippers, the three guys I have in mind are Lonzo Ball, Kyle Lowry, and Russell Westbrook. The Russell Westbrook thing is just complete speculation on my part because I don't even know if he's on, if they're listening to calls on him.
Yeah, definitely. But they obviously need a point guard. I think he could. It'd be interesting with him in Miami because they have a lot of great guards already. But I feel like the Heat. I've seen a rumor that if he's with the trade, that the Heat can maybe get it done as soon as possible. So I think the Heat are option.
I was gonna say I actually heard that it's possible like they'd be willing to move on from Iguodala to make that happen.
Well, I can see that because they just I don't think we talked about it on here, but they were just able to get Trevor Ariza, so that's another 3-and-D type of guy for them who kind of maybe gave him, obviously not as much experience as Iguodala, but they give him maybe some of the same things that Iguodala does and is a little younger and maybe be able to play some more minutes. But yeah, so I think Kyle Lowry could be effective in a lot of places, and obviously Toronto's not really going nowhere right now, so they could be some sellers. They could be a seller at the trade deadline. Excuse me. Obviously, like you said, Philly would be a great homecoming for him. So there's a lot of great spots for him. It'd be interesting to see where he wants to go.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The other team that we damn, the other team that we definitely got to keep an eye out for is the Spurs, which is a little surprising because they're in the playoff hunt right now. But we know that they would like to move on from LaMarcus Aldridge. We've heard a lot about DeMar DeRozan as well. The Heat has been a team that's been mentioned a lot with LaMarcus Aldridge. A year ago they were talking a lot about them and DeMar DeRozan. I haven't really heard too much about that this year. But who's the teams that really need the services of these two guys, and why? I don't know, why the Spurs, since maybe they just want to reset everything because they're back where we know them to be, a playoff team.
Yeah, but they were kind of basically a playoff team last year. Obviously, they didn't get in, but they always are. Well, I think things are just maybe not working out over there. Because at this point, it's either you maybe stay as a bottom feeder playoff team, and obviously you're not going to contend, or you kind of have to hit the reset button. And some people think it's kind of bad to just be like the person getting in at the 8th seed because you don't get a high enough pick, and you're obviously not good enough to contend. Obviously, they thought LaMarcus Aldridge and DeRozan to be able to do more for him. But I think maybe they're seeing now with those two guys, they're not going to be contenders. So maybe it is time to maybe blow it up. So I think for LaMarcus Aldridge, I'm not too sure about DeMar DeRozan right now. I have to give it some more thought. But for LaMarcus Aldridge, I could like him back in Portland. Obviously, Dame was kind of young when he was there, and when Dame was really coming on, he decided to leave. But I think Portland can really use him, and I heard that things are kind of fixed between them over there, and whatever happens. So I think him going back to Portland would be one, a great story, and two, I think they can really use them to kind of use him to kind of maybe boost them into being a champion, a contender. Even though some people think they're a contender now, but he would just help their hopes.
He could be the missing piece that they need. You know, I remember people talking like it was it a year or 2 years ago. People talking about how like that he like a player like him, specifically his position, like is literally like what they need.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was there before, and obviously, if you look at it, you look back at it now, it's like if he stayed, where would they possibly be right now? And that's just another offensive weapon for him, another veteran, someone who can play defense too. They got a lot of scorers over there already with C.J. McCollum, Dame Lillard, Melo. So they can go on and on. It's just going to add to their depth, and I always get their names mixed up, but Nurkic or
Nurkic, yeah,
yeah,
Yusuf
Nurkic.
Nurkic.
He's hurt a lot, so that could be another big man for him. Where maybe possibly he helps them go big if they need to because he can play the power forward and go small when they need to because he also can play the center. And he's a post up threat that they don't have right now. With Nurkic being out, who's a kind of a post up threat, but LaMarcus Aldridge is like a post up threat that you really have to worry about. He can give you like 40 out of the post, so it gives them another dimension to their game that they don't have maybe besides Melo.
Yeah, and I definitely like that for them. And any other we talked about it a little bit here. Lonzo Ball is another guy that is being talked about obviously with the Clippers. Who else is
The Knicks,
the Clippers?
I heard the Knicks.
Yeah, you ruined it for me, man. I was just about to get to. I had a whole rollout for them. Nah, there's not another team that besides those two. Why do I feel like there was like one more team that's kind of been using his cert that would like to try and get him in there?
I
No.
mean, if LeVar has it his way, they'd be the Charlotte Hornets. So,
Well, Lavar's not going to have it his way, so. Um, yeah, he'd be very good for. Before I get to this, Magic Johnson was on First Take today and said that when they were talking about this, he said there is no guard in the league right now with an IQ as good as Lonzo's. Did he just forget that Chris Paul still plays in the NBA?
I didn't hear him say that, but Chris Paul is definitely the first person that came to my mind when that was said. I would have to respectfully disagree with Magic Johnson. Obviously, he wants to big up his pick, and Lonzo Ball it does have a high IQ, and he's obviously a great passer, but Chris Paul is still in the league, so like, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I think it's enough said when you say Chris Paul is still in the league.
that was very crazy to me. But I mean, like I said, sometimes the greatest athletes don't always make the greatest coaches or even the greatest front office people. But yeah, Ball was talked about with the Clippers and
we are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks.
the New York Knicks.
I think the Knicks fans are starting to catch on to your little sarcasm with this joke.
It's no hate, man. I like you guys, man. You guys are building something very good over there.
You came on here last week wearing that Nets jersey, and you're trying to play the Knicks songs. They're on to you. You're not fooling nobody.
It's no hate, man. It's no hate. I promise you. I just like that song. I mean, he would be good for the Knicks as far as like pace and everything goes. I know Stephen A. kind of had a little tantrum when he heard because Magic actually said if the Clippers don't get him, that the Knicks should be all over that. And then Stephen A. had a little tantrum where he said he doesn't want him because he wants a point guard that can actually shoot. Lonzo Ball is shooting 38% from three though, so I mean, but it was a 42% from the field. That's not the greatest, but that could be good for the Knicks. Like that's one of their things. Like they don't have a point guard. Like RJ Barrett's been developing very well this year. Julius Randle this year, the last year is night and day. You know, he's an all-star and everything. And they need somebody that can really push the rock. Like they need somebody that's going to be able to set a good pace for them, a good pace of play for them. So I wouldn't mind it. Now, like LeVar Ball has said he wanted his son to play in New York. So
Yeah, well, obviously it's a big market, and if he's not going to be in LA, he wants him in maybe. Honestly, the Knicks might be the number one big market right now. So if he's not going to be in LA, you got to want him in the biggest market. So I think obviously he plays defense, and with Thibodeau and what he does over there, that'll be great for them. He does have a high basketball IQ. I don't think it's the number one, but he does have a high basketball IQ, so he'll be able to come in and basically does what a point guard does: pass the ball really well, play defense. Obviously, he wasn't that great of a shooter, but he's getting better at shooting in the NBA because he was pretty good in high school and college. I don't know what happened, but he started.
their shot, not that like his numbers were good, but their shots were just like even LaMelo, like it's a weird shot. Like it's the way they do it, like it's weird.
Yeah, it is a weird shot, but it was going in. So like I don't kind of know what happened when he got to the NBA. Maybe a lot of people was telling him he needed to change it or whatever, but he's shooting better now. The confidence is there, so he can knock down an open shot. It seems like at this point, so I think he can help the Knicks a lot. Obviously, he would maybe be more useful right now to the Clippers, but the Clippers are going to be in every conversation about a point guard right now. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go. But it'll be interesting. I want to know how Knicks fans kind of feel about it.
I guess we don't have any in here today because nobody said anything. So is anything on your feed? Because I haven't seen anything.
No, but maybe the Knicks are playing tonight.
They are playing tonight. They're playing against Washington. They're actually up too.
Yeah, Knicks fans don't got time for you on here playing around while, while the Knicks are playing.
It's no hate, man. It's no hate, I swear. Uh all things Torah, Kyrie's out again. Could this turn into a problem again? Um,
They said it was another family issue that he's out for.
yeah, it's also his birthday. So I mean, at this point, man, like the Nets seem like they don't care. Like the let Kyrie, I can't. I'll compare the Kyrie situation to Dennis Rodman and the Bulls. If any of you guys watched The Last Dance, Dennis Rodman took like a whole week vacation in Las Vegas, just abruptly left the team, and they were cool with it. So the Nets don't seem to have a problem with Kyrie leaving. It's not hurting them too much, and he'll be back after this road trip. So, and also, man, like, nobody said it in here, but I've been listening to it a lot. Like, who cares? Like, people are so wrapped up in like what he's doing and stuff. Like, at the end of the day, his business is his business. Like, he does not need to tell you literally like what he's going out and doing.
That's 100% true, but like I think people would be a little worried if you just call out of work whenever you want to for 2 weeks.
And he's got a little differently. I like what they said on ESPN New York. Was it Rosenberg? He said the rules are a little different for me than they are for Stephen A. Stephen A. calls up ESPN, tells them, "Hey, I'm not coming in today." Well, then you better go find a replacement. If Peter Rosenberg calls in and says he can't make it, it might be a little different conversation.
Uh, fair enough point. But yeah, like you said, you gotta just let Kyrie be Kyrie at this point. Obviously, this is not something new. It's not like he just got to Brooklyn and started doing things like this. He's been doing stuff like this. So like, you gotta let him be him. Obviously, this is another reason why the Harden trade looks great. You see what Harden was able to go out there and do when he was by himself against Phoenix. Harden has shown us that he can carry a team by himself. Obviously, he's going to need the help come playoff time. But during the regular season, Harden does not miss games. And he can carry the team with whoever's out there. You can send him out there with me, you, a couple of people in the comments.
Nah, I can't help him. I'll be honest with you. I can't help him. Not on the floor. Maybe like on the side, but on the floor, no. I was a pretty good defender in my day, though.
Send a couple of us out there with Harden, and he'll be able to get the dub. So, like, this is why like the Harden trade looks a lot better, and maybe they knew something a little bit with the KD thing, like we talked about earlier. Should be maybe a little concerned about him still being out, but this is the great thing about having Harden. So, like, obviously, if Kyrie's gonna come back and be Kyrie like he's been playing this year, like I said, him and Harden look like a match made in heaven. So if he's gonna come out and beat Kyrie and just be ready for that playoff run when playoff time comes, then I guess go out there and just don't catch COVID, please.
Yeah, yeah, you know. But I don't know, man. I got nothing else for him this week. You got anything else? We got any more questions? What's going on?
What's been going on this week? Nah, I think that is about it. I guess how far we talked about it on here, Bron being out. Where do you think they place now with Bron and them being out? Do you think they fall out of the top three?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So
Absolutely.
you think they'll go into this playoff run, no home court advantage?
Man, it's possible. Depend. Yeah, yeah. They won't have unless like he just goes Superman when he gets back. But no, I don't think that they're gonna have playoff home court advantage. But he's been in that position before, so I don't think it's gonna bother him too much.
All right. Are the Lakers getting out the West? With everything, with how the facts are right now, are the Lakers getting out the West?
How the facts are right now?
Obviously,
No. Heck no.
the facts are they're gonna miss some time, but they'll probably be back by playoff time. But they won't have home court advantage.
Oh, they're losing
They-
72 to 58 to the New Orleans Pelicans right now.
Do they get out the West when those guys get back by playoff time, but they have no home court advantage?
It's gonna be hard to bet against them. As the facts are right now, I guess I want to say yeah, but hey man, and you kind of laughed at me too when I said Phoenix was that team to watch out for, but they're second in the West right now.
Yes, I think they're gonna be very. Obviously, they're gonna be a good team with Chris Paul, Jay Crowder. They got those pieces over there. A finals run out of the West though, no, I don't see it. They're too young right now. If this was maybe, think about it, it's gonna be Devin Booker and a lot of those players' first year in the playoffs. Same
They were in
thing-
a bubble last year.
That was, I guess, nah. It's the playoffs. And then think of if they go up against Bron in the second round. Even with Bron in them, maybe not. Being
Take the
top
Lakers in
seed.
6.
Yeah, I'm taking the Lakers. So like,
In 6.
I think obviously they're a solid team. They're a good team. I expected that with the pieces they made, the run that they made in the bubble. But getting out the West, no, I'm sticking by that. No. I'd be absolutely shocked, and I would come on here and do a handstand if they do come out the West.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't think. I guess I would still pick the Lakers to come out of the West. But I mean, the Clippers will make it hard. But we're saying presently at this time.
All right, update. Who's your MVP right now?
It's still Embiid. Even with him missing time, it's still Embiid. Because when he comes back, he's just gonna come back doing what he's been doing.
I feel that. And way too early prediction. Where do you got the Giants finishing?
The Giants are winning the NFC East next year.
All right. Well, then my next question is.
Hey, what's yours? What's yours that you wanted to ask?
Zach, did we talk about Zach Prescott getting his money? I think we did.
Yeah, we did. It might have even came up like during the show.
Obviously, I think they're the favorites to win it right now. So, well, we're gonna have some high hopes. I'm gonna go with you here and say that they do win the NFC East.
Do you think adding Kenny Golladay for Daniel Jones is anything at all like when they brought in Plaxico Burress for Eli Manning?
I don't know. It's got to be interesting. We're going to be first of all, obviously, you talked about Galloway missing all those games, and 2 years ago he had a great season. Is he going to be fully healthy and be able to play because they need him out there? And then also, I think with Saquon Barkley, if Saquon Barkley comes back 100% healthy, I think that'd be another thing. So I think those two together combined could be very important for him. But obviously, they both have to stay healthy. And I think obviously, like I said, with Saquon Barkley coming back, I think that's going to make it easier to get Galloway open. So I think that's something that could be helpful for him.
you can't put 8 guys in the box on what the Giants are throwing in front of you. Like I said, you just added Galladay, but then you got Slayton, who had a great rookie year, and a lot of people said that his production fell off last year. One, because of injuries, but two, he needed that number one receiver to kind of help open things up for him. Now he's got it, but then you got Sterling Shepard in the slot, who just Sterling Shepard's great, man, and then Kyle Rudolph and Evan Ingram. So I just how are you going to stop that?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I mean. It all comes down to Daniel Jones.
In health. Daniel Jones in health. But I think from what we see from Daniel Jones, obviously it's been a little up and down, but I think he's shown us a lot of bright spots. So I'm going to go with him right now. Like I said, pick them to win the conference and get into the playoffs and end this little drought.
Cool. I'm with it. Eerily, what they've done is eerily similar to 2016. Like at worst, that's what you would hope for. At worst, because they made the play, they won the division and went to the playoffs. Right. Fell apart after that, but.
And if they try to come to Miami, I'm going to revoke their Miami card. So.
That's crazy.
They won't be able to come to Miami this trip, so that's the thing.
Yeah. No boats, no boat trips for any of you. We refuse.
Yep. So that's that. High hopes now in New York. The Knicks are looking good. The Giants seem like they might be back. New York, stand up. You might have to play the New York
Nets,
Knicks.
Man.
Oh yeah, the Nets.
Got those Nets. How about those Nets?
You might have to play that New York Knicks music on the way out.
The Nets don't got a song, man. They're the team chasing a title. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I think they just play a whole bunch of Biggie songs. So that's it.
Bring back the Coogee jerseys too. I got two over here right now. Like, bring those back. Those are like the best jerseys they rolled out to me. No, you don't agree?
I just felt like I was gonna say I feel like it was just a reason for you to to wear that jersey last week and try to play it off. But,
yeah, it's there's no hate. It's nothing personal. It was a complete coincidence. I swear.
We don't believe you. Your brother blew your cover. Tony blew your cover.
I was just talking to him too. I'm surprised he's not in here.
Shout out to Tony. He blew your cover. The podcast is not believing you.
Nah, hey, you guys don't believe me, man. Might E Fresh wasn't in here today. Like, Antoine didn't come through today. Like, where was everybody at, man?
Well, shout out Mighty E Fresh. I don't know where he's at, but shout him out.
Yeah. You definitely got to have you guys back on next time. We'll throw you in the promo.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I guess that's it for the show this week, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it. More content pushing as always. And yeah, we're out here.